Hello guys, and you are welcome to Choose Success Science tutorial. This is mathematics class with Choose. For today, we shall be discussing part 2 under coordinate geometry 1. And I know by now you have finished watching part 1, but in case you have not watched part 1, go back and watch part 1 before you continue this part. Because of course we have done a lot in part 1. So under part 2 we shall look at the following some topics. Shall be discussing gradient and intercept, the concept of collinear, parallel lines, perpendicular lines, equations of a straight line. Now I start with gradient and intercept. Gradient or slope represented with M is defined as the measure of the degree of rise or fall of a straight line. It could be positive or negative. So for positive slope, the diagram is like this. You see the rise of the line, right? For negative slope, the diagram is like this. This is what? The fall of a line, right? Now intercept is the point where the line cuts y-axis and x-axis. And this one we call it y-intercept, right? And at y-intercept, x is 0. Now here we call it x-intercept, and at x-intercept, y is 0. Now, those of you prepared to write Jamb, Jamb will ask you to find the slope. Now, the formula I'm going to use to find the slope depends on the information given to you. For instance, if Jamb gives you equation of a straight line of the form y equal to mx plus c and asks you to find the slope becomes the coefficient of x, which is m here. So slope becomes m. Sometimes they will give you equation of the form ax plus by plus c equal to 0 and expect you to find the slope. In this case, slope, which is m, becomes minus a over b, where a is the coefficient of x in that equation and b is the coefficient of y in that equation. Now sometimes two coordinates or 2 points will be given to you and they ask to find the slope. In that case, the formula to use becomes this: m equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Sometimes an angle of inclination will be given to you and you are asked to find the slope. In that case, the slope m becomes tan theta, where theta is the angle of the inclination. And to find the theta itself, theta becomes tan inverse of m. Tan inverse of m. Alright, and that is what all you have to know when it comes to slope. Now, let's go to collinear. The word collinear means points that lie on the same straight line and as such have the same gradients. Now there are two conditions for 3 lines to be collinear. One condition is this: they must have the same slope. Same slope. Now let's consider 3 points like this. A is a point having the coordinate 1, 2. B point, coordinate 2, 4. C point, the coordinate 3, and 6. Now these 3 points are collinear because they have equal slope. Now using this formula here now, if you compare AB and BC, you get the same slope, right? So for this slope, AB must be equal to slope BC. Slope AB must be equal to slope BC. 2 conditions. Number 2 condition, for 3 points to be collinear, the area of the triangle formed by those 3 points must be 0. Must be 0. So don't forget. Now 3 lines can also be collinear if they are parallel to each other and as well, have the same gradient. You understand? Okay, now let's go to parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines that cannot meet no matter how you draw it, and as such must have the same gradient. Now let's consider 2 parallel lines here. So these are 2 parallel lines. For this to be parallel, for L1 is parallel to L2. Because slope 1 is equal to slope 2. Don't forget this, please. This is the condition for lines to be parallel. Alright. Now, next one, perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines. Now, 2 lines are said to be perpendicular if they intersect at the right angle to each other. And as such, the product of their slope must be -1. Now, let's consider the diagram here. Okay, now these are 2 perpendicular lines. They intersect here, making a 90 here. So, and we are saying the condition for these 2 lines to perpendicular, which means L1 is perpendicular to L2 because their product M2 M1 is equal to -1. Very, very important. So don't forget it. Now, 2 lines can intersect at an acute angle, that is an angle less than 90. And then Jamb will expect to find the tangent value of that acute angle. Let's look at the 2 lines here. Alright. In this case, to get tan theta, the formula becomes this. Absolute value of M2 minus M1 all over 1 plus M2 M1. M2 M1. Alright. That is what is expected of you to know now. Now the next one is equation of a straight line. Equation of a straight line. Jamb will ask you to find the equation of a straight line And there are many formulas I'm going to use to get that anyway, but it depends the data given to you. For instance now, if one condition, if Jamb gives you a slope and intercept, that's slope and intercept. If slope and intercept are given to you and I ask to find the equation of the straight line, the formula becomes y equal to mx plus c. Yes. Now, the next one, if Jamb gives me a slope and a point, that is 1 point and a slope. Number 2, a point and a slope. And they are asked to find the equation of the straight line. The formula becomes y minus y1 equal to m into x minus x1. Alright. Now, if 2 points are given to you and you're asked to find a slope, you're asked to find the equation, the formula becomes, that is number 3 now, 2 points being given, the formula becomes y minus y1 all over x minus x1 equal to y2 minus y1 x2 minus x1. Alright, so these are the equations you are going to use to answer any question that asks you when it comes to equation of a straight line. Alright, at this point, I shall be taking you into the journey of solving all form of past questions for Jamb. So stay with me as I take you through the journey. Alright, let's begin with this question. The question says PQ and RS are two parallel lines. If the coordinates of PQ, RS are 1, Q, 3, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 2Q respectively, find the value of Q. This is 2006 question. Alright, now I told you the condition of lines to be parallel, right? Solution. Now from the question, if PQ is parallel to RS, it means that slope PQ must be equal to slope RS. And to get slope PQ are points. P has the coordinates 1, Q. Q has the coordinate 3, 2, right? And I told you how to get the coordinate, how to get the slope, right? When 2 coordinates are given to you. That is, apply the formula here. The formula is what? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 must be equal to the slope of RS. RS are points, and this is RS. See the same formula. y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Now, if you are considering this, remember this is P, this is Q, right? So y2 is the last number under the second, bracket, right? Which is what now? Which is 2 minus y1 is the last number under first bracket, which is what? Q, all over x2 is the first number under second bracket, which is what? 3 minus x1 is the first number under first bracket, and that is what? 1. right? Must be equal to, now for this one, y2, for this one, rs becomes this, rs. So for y2 becomes what? 2q minus y1 is 4 all over s2 is 5 minus x1 is what? Is 3. We're looking for q, right? What s? You can cross and multiply. No, let's simplify. Now 2 minus q all over okay, 3 minus 1 is what? Is 2 equal to 2q minus 4. 5 minus 3 is what? Is 2. Then mathematically you can cancel out. It's correct, right? Equate the numerator now. So 2 minus q equal to 2q minus 4. You collect like 10. I'm collecting q here. Minus q is here already. Minus 2q, I mean 2q is going because what? Minus 2q equal to 4 is here already. 2 is going because minus 2, right? Minus q minus 2q is minus 3q. That means minus 3q equal to minus 4 minus 2 is minus 6. Minus 6. Now let me divide by what? Minus 3. Minus 3. This cancels out. My q becomes 3 divided 6 is 2. So q is 2. Which option? Option A. Next question. Now let's solve number 2 question. Find the tangent of the acute angle between the lines 2x plus y equal to 3x, 3x minus 2y equal to 5. These are the options. And this is 2020 question number 26. Alright, now I gave a formula you will use to find the tangent of an acute angle, right? That is, if two lines are inclined at an acute angle, I gave the formula. Now, the formula I gave you is, I said, use the formula tan solution. Use the formula tan theta equal to m2 minus m1, 1 plus m2 m1. Then put your absolute value. Now, where m2 and m1 are the slope of the two lines, slope of this one is m1, this one is m2. Now, to get the slope of this equation, I told you how to get the slope when the equation is up like this, right? So for 2x plus y equal to 3, the slope m, I told you is what? Minus a over what? Over b, right? Minus a over b. That is b. My a is what? My a is 2. My b is what? 1, right? And that is 2. Because 1 divided 2 is 2 what? Is 2. Or you can make y the subject of the formula. Then this equation will be like this form. Y equal to ms plus c. You get the slope, right? Same thing. Now for the next equation, this is my m1. The next equation 3x minus 2y equal to 5. The slope m2 becomes, using the formula, minus a over b, and that is equal to minus. My a is what? My a is 3. My b is what? Minus 2. Minus can cancel out. Remember what? 3 over 2. Alright. At this point, you can substitute, right? Using the formula. Now, tan theta becomes absolute value. M2 is this one. 3 over 2 minus. My M1 is what? Is minus 2. So minus 2, right? And the minus times minus what? Is plus. So let me just write plus 2. Understood? Alright. Now, 1 plus M2 is 3 over 2 times M1 is what? Minus 2. Right? Minus 2. Then I can put it over 1. So this one 1, this one 1. Right? So I'm having absolute value of 3 over 2 plus 2 all over 1 plus. Now, minus 1 is remaining here. Minus 1 times 3 is minus 3. So minus what? Minus 3. Understand? Now, and you know, minus times plus is what? Plus times minus what? Is minus. So let me just write what? Minus 3. Understood now? Look at, I hope you are following me. Alright, next one. Having 3 over 2 plus 2. 1 minus 3 is minus 2. Now, let me get the LCM from the numerator. The numerator, LCM is what? Okay. 3 over 2 plus 2 over 1, right? Let me get LCM here. LCM is what? Is 2, right? 2 to 2, 2. 2 into 2 is 1 now. 1 times 3 is 3. Plus 1 into 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is what? 4. Then divide them by what? Minus 2, right? And that will give me 3 plus 4 is 7 over 2, right? Divided, I want to use this one now, right? By what? Minus 2 over 1. Are you following me? And that will give me equal to 7 over 2. I want to change division to times. 1 will go up and minus 2 will come down, right? Alright, and that will give me this time this 7 times 1 is 7. 2 times minus 2 is minus 4. Remember, all these things they have an absolute value, right? They all have absolute value, right? They all have absolute value. Now, mathematically, this can be changed as saying equal to minus 7 over 4. At this point, I'm going to utilize the meaning of absolute value. Now, if answer is negative and you are talking about absolute value, please convert, let that negative becomes what? Positive. That is the meaning of what? Absolute value. So it cannot get a negative value. That's the meaning. So therefore, now tan theta becomes equal to 7 over 4. That is the answer. Which option is that? Option C. It's okay. Next question. Okay, let's solve number 3 question. Find the acute angle between the straight lines y equal to s and y equal to sod 3s. These are the options, and this is 2009 question number 24. I have told you, whenever they ask you to find the, this question is, slight a bit different from the second one we saw. Second one, you asked to find the tangent of an acute angle, which means you asked to find tan theta. Now, for this one, I asked to find theta. But it's still the same formula, right? Still the same formula. Now, solution. Alright, the formula for that I've given you is tan theta equal to absolute value of m2 minus m1 all over 1 plus m2 m1, right? Now, the first equation is this, y equal to s. So what is the What's the slope here? The slope is the coefficient of x, which is what? Which is 1. Of course you know. So my m1 is equal to 1. Next equation, y equal to sod 3h. Right? Okay. Now the slope, second slope is the coefficient of x, which is sod, equal to sod 3. Right? Now you can substitute. So my tan theta becomes equal to m2 is this one, sod 3 minus m1 is 1 all over 1 plus m2 is what? Sod 3 times m1, which is 1, right? And that will give me sod 3 minus 1 plus sod 3 times 1 is this sod 3. Now under sod they taught you how to rationalize sod of this form, and that will be getting the conjugate of this. Rationalize this called using the sod, using the conjugate of this denominator, and that should be tan theta becomes equal to the numerator is sod 3 minus 1 times the conjugate of this is what? Is 1 minus sod 3. So this is the conjugate of this divided by this thing 1 plus sod 3 times its conjugate 1 minus sod 3. And then don't forget to put your absolute value. Absolute value. Absolute value. Alright. Then you can multiply, right? So 3 times 1 is sod 3 minus sod 3 times sod 3. That is when sod of the same multiply each other, you get the number, right? So you are getting what? 3. Understood? Okay. Now minus 1 times 1 is what? Minus 1, right? Minus times minus is plus. 1 times sod 3 is sod 3 all over 1 times 1 is 1 minus 1 times sod 3 is sod 3, right? Plus sod 3 times 1 is sod 3 plus times minus is minus. Sod 3 times sod 3, I told you is what? Is 3. Now let's simplify. I think this can cancel out, right? Alright, then here you can collect like them. Sod 3 plus sod 3 plus sod 3, right? And the sod, they taught how to add sod. Sod of the same, that the same sod can be added, right? You add the coefficient, and this is 1 is here, 1 is here, right? That will give us what now? 2 sod 3. Are you following me now? Then minus 3 minus 1 is minus 4 all over 1 minus 3. 1 minus what? 3, right? And 1 minus 3 is what? Is minus 2. Minus 2. Are you following me now? Now you can the denominator have the same common denominator, right? I mean, this numerator they have common denominator, so you can separate it, and that could be written as 2 sod 3 by minus 2 minus 4 over minus what? Minus 2. Alright, and that will be this cancel, right? Minus divide plus is what? Is minus. Remaining what? So 3. This cancel. 2 divided 4 is what? Is plus 2. Remaining. And this can be written as, right? The one that has plus first, right? 2 minus what? So 3. Right? 2 minus what? So there. 3. Okay. Then, at this point, and you know that this is tan theta. Tan theta is equal to absolute value of 2 minus what? 3. Now, to get theta, it becomes tan inverse. Tan inverse of what? 2 minus so 3. Of course, know that 2 minus so 3 is not a negative. So no need for output to value because it's not negative number, right? Use calculator, press tan inverse of 2 minus so 3, you get 15, right? So theta becomes 15 degrees. And that is option what? Option A. Now, if you don't have time, as in time is fast, it's running very fast. While you are writing exam for Jamb candidate and want to use Jamb trick to solve this question, you can simply use Jamb trick and solve it more simpler than this method for this particular question. You get now, and that could be. Okay, let's solve the next question. Find the gradient of the line joining the point P having these coordinates and Q having these coordinates. This is the year they ask the question. Alright, I give you the formula for that. Solution. When 2 points are given, they ask to find gradient. I told you now. So gradient, which is slope, S is equal to y2 minus y1 by h2 minus h1, right? Where h2 comes from the second bracket. Don't forget it all. And that should be the last number. Alright, and that is 3. That is 3 minus x1 comes from the first bracket. That is the last number. That is 6 divided by h2 comes from the last bracket, which is the second bracket, and that is the first number. And that is 3 minus x1 comes from the first bracket, and that's the first number. That's what? 5. Alright, and that should be 3 minus 6 is what? Minus 3. Then 5 minus 2 minus 3 is minus 2, right? It's minus 2, minus 2. Are you following me now? Yeah, minus 2. This can cancel out. So that gradient, which is slope, becomes 3 over 1 over 2. And that is option B. It's not difficult, very simple. Next question. Okay, let's solve number 5 question. The gradient of the line joining x, 4 and 1, 2 is 1 over 2. Find the value of x. This is 2014 question number 33. Now, it's still the same formula, but here now, they have given the gradient and they ask you to find a letter from one of the brackets. Simple thing. Solution. The formula is the same thing, right? Which is m slope equal to y2 minus y1 h2 minus h1, right? My slope is given, which is 1 over 2 equal to my y2 is what? First bracket, second bracket. y2 is 2 minus y1 is 4 all over x2 is 1, x1 is x. At this point, let me cross and multiply. 1 times here when 1 times anything, you still get that thing, right? So you will still have 1 minus x equal to, now let us use it to times this one now, which is 2 into 2 minus 4, right? And that will give us 1 minus x equal to 2 times 2, 4. 2 times 4, 8. You correct like 10. That's minus x equal to, okay, let's simplify. 1 minus x equal to 4 minus 8 is minus 4, right? Minus 4. That's minus x equal to minus 4. 1 is going inside because minus what? Minus 1. Right? Okay. And that will be minus x equal to minus 4 minus 1 is minus 5. Minus cancel out. Our x becomes 5, which is option A. Alright, next question. Okay, let's solve the next question. Find the gradient of a line which is perpendicular to the line with the equation 3x plus 2y plus 1 equal to 0. Now I told you the condition for two lines to be perpendicular is that the product of the slope or gradient must be minus 1. Alright? Now there are 2 lines here. First line has this equation. The second line is what they say that the line is perpendicular to this particular one. Alright, now let's first get the slope of this one. This one could be called M1. Alright, M1. So and I told you how to get the slope when equation is of the form is given to you. Right? So in that case, M1 is equal to minus what? A over B. Right? And that would be what? A is what? Is 3 minus 3. B is what? Is 2. I told you if you want to use this one, you can make y the sort of formula and then you can still convert it to another equation. Right? Alright. Now I know that my M1, M2 dot M1 must be minus 1, right? Now I know this one, I don't know this one. So which means that M2 is equal to minus 1 divided by what? M1. I frame it now. So the M2, the one I'm looking for, becomes minus 1 divided by M1 is what? Is minus 3 over 2, right? This one what now? Over 1 now. That will be equal to minus 1 over 1 times 2 is going up now. Minus what? Minus 3, right? This cancels out. So my M2, which is the slope of the required equation, becomes 1 times 2 is what? Is 2. Over 1 times 3 is 3. And that is your what? Your answer. Option what? Option B. Next question. Alright, let's solve this question. Find the equation of the line through points minus 2, 1 and minus 1 over 2, 4. Alright, these are the options given to you. Now, I told you how to get the equation of a straight line when 2 points are given. If you can still recall from the formula I've been listed on the board. So solution, the equation formula for that becomes y minus y1 over x minus x1 equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I gave you this equation before, right? Note, y and x means variable. They are just variable, right? Alright, so y minus y1, remember this is the first bracket, right? So it's what? It's minus 2. Minus 2. Alright? So minus times minus is what? Plus. So let me write 2. Minus 2. Followed by x minus my x1. No, y1. Y1 is this. Y1 is 1, please. So minus what? Minus 1. Yes, minus 1. Alright. Now y2. Y1 is this one. Yes. Then x1 is minus 2, right? And that's plus 2 now, right? Equal to y2 comes from here. And that is 4 minus y1 is 4, right? Is 1. Is 1. Alright. X2 comes from here, which is what? Minus 1 over 2 minus x1 is minus 2. Minus 2. Minus times minus is plus, right? Then just write plus 2. Simple. Alright, let me look for a way to simplify. Alright, and that will be y minus 1 s plus 2 equal to 4 minus 1 is what? Is 3. Alright, let me look for LCM here. Or simply say, alright, okay, 2 minus half plus 2 means 2 minus half, which is what? Half. So we get 1 over 2, right? Because 2 minus half is still half. Now at this point, let me cross and multiply. Let me cross and multiply. This will multiply. This will multiply. So I have 3. 3 is multiplying s plus 2, and then half will multiply y minus 1. Are you following me now? Alright, now that will be 3 times x what? 3x plus 3 times 2 is 6 equal to 1 times y is y, which are 2, right? Minus 1 times 1 is 1, which you are 2. Now I want to clear the fraction. Let me use the LCM, which is 2, and multiply all 2. Alright? So use 2 to multiply everything. So 2 times 3 is what? 3, that is 6s now. Plus 2 times 6 is 12 equal to, I'm multiplying 2 by 2 now. That's what I mean. So 2 can divide 2, y remain minus 2 divided 2, 1. I hope you have to do this simple calculation. So it's not difficult. Now, let me collect the item now. This can be written as saying 6x minus y equal to minus 1 minus 12, right? Minus 12. Minus 12. Okay. So that is it now. In this case now we have 6x minus y equal to minus 1 minus 12 is minus 13. Minus 13. Okay, now making from the equation y was made the simple formula. So I'm going to make it square. Minus y equal to 6x is going this side because minus what? 6x, then minus 13 is here already. Now let me multiply, let me divide all 2 by minus. Divide all 2 by minus. So minus by minus, that is say minus to cancel minus, that is it. That's the meaning. Minus divided minus is plus. Minus divided minus is what? Is plus, right? Minus by minus is what? Is plus. So we end up in getting y equal to 6x plus 13. Now look at the option here. None of the option is correct, right? So but this is the correct answer to this particular equation. Next question. Okay, let's solve next number, please. Find the equation of the straight line through minus 2, 3 and perpendicular to 4x plus 3y minus 5 equal to 0. That is to say that the equation of the line you're asked to find is perpendicular to this equation. And the thing passes through this point. And this is the point of the equation. Now, this is another equation that is perpendicular to that equation. Now, and I told the two lines are perpendicular if the product of the slope is minus 1. So the first step is to get the slope of this equation, and that will help you to get the slope of the equation, right? Now we tag this one to be slope 1, m1. So m1 is equal to what? Minus a over b. That is the formula because the equation is of that form I gave you, right? Alright, now, and that will be equal to a is what? Is 4, and b is what? Is 3. Right? Now, the next equation, which has to find the equation, the next slope of the equation it has to find becomes m2, right? Now let's get that one first. But we know that m2, m1 is equal to minus what? Minus 1, right? So my m2 becomes minus 1 divided by what? m1, right? And that minus 1 over 1 times this one is what? m1 is what? Is minus 4 over 3, right? Yeah, this can cancel out. That would be what? 4 over, that would be what? That's a mistake, please. This is division, right? Division is here. So we have not turned to multiplication and we're dividing. And we're dividing, so which is wrong? Or that will go to 1 over 1, right? Turn division to what? Yeah, to times. Minus here. So that this one minus, right? And 3 will go up now. And minus 4 will come down. Are you following now? Alright. So this can cancel out. And that will be 3 over 1 over 4. So m2 is 3 over 4. Now to get the equation of the m2, what point is given? A slope is given. Use that equation I gave you before. Alright, and the equation is y minus y1 equal to m into x minus x1, right? Where x and y are the variable, right? Then x1, y1 is the points, right? Now in your slope is this one. Very simple. That will be y minus y1 is what? Y1 is 3. Alright, equal to slope is what? 3 over 4 into x is a variable minus x1 is minus 2. Minus 2, right? Minus times minus is plus, so let me write plus 2. Next thing, use this to open bracket. So have y minus 3 equal to 3 times s is 3x over 4, right? Plus 3 times 2 is what? 6 over 4. I follow it now. LCM is 4. Add up this 3x plus what? 6, right? That is y equal to y minus 3 equal to this. I follow me now. Yes. And at this point I will cross and multiply. Yes, 1 will times this, you still get what? You will still get 3x plus 6. I follow me now. 4 will times this equal to 4 into y minus 3. So I have 3x plus 6 equal to 4 times y is what? 4y minus 4 times 3 is what? Is 12. Right? Now make your equation to be like this. Alright, so I'm having 3x, 4y is going becomes what? Minus 4y. Alright, 6 is here already, plus 6. This is going because what? Plus what? 12 equal to 0. And that will be 3x minus 4y. 6 plus 12 is 18. That is plus 18 equal to 0. And that is equation what? Option A. That is your answer. Next question. Okay, let's solve the last equation before I'll give the one you test your ability. The question says a straight line makes an angle of 30 degrees with the positive x-axis and cut the y-axis at y equal to 5. Find the equation of a straight line. I told you that when something like this gives to you, I told you what to do, right? Alright, now solution. The angle of inclination is given to you already, right? So theta is given to you. To be what? Theta is 30 degrees. And the thing cut y-axis at 5 equal to y equal to 5. I told that at y-intercept x is equal to 0. Now from the equation, this is equal to what? Mx plus what? Plus c, right? The thing cut y, 5 here, right? Which is 5 equal to at y-intercept x is always 0. So if x is 0, everything here goes 0 plus c, right? Which means that c is 5. So you are giving theta, you are giving intercept, and I told you if theta is given to you and intercept given to you, what formula we use to find the equation? Use this one, y equal to mx, right? Plus what? Plus c, right? Because this one becomes a variable, which is y. Becomes what? Becomes variable now. Of course, yes. Sorry. Sorry, there's a little bit mistake here. Now, if theta is given to you, slope, which I have told you that if an angle is given to you, the slope, which becomes tan theta, right? And theta is 30, which means slope is equal to what? Tan 30 degrees, right? Tan 30 degrees. And tan 30 degrees from calculator will give you what? Will give you sub 3, right? So now, they say the thing cut y equal to x. The thing cut y equal to what? 5. And at y intercept, x is 0, which I know you know that one. Which means from the equation y equal to mx plus c, at y intercept, x is 0. And y is what? 5 equal to everything is what? 0. Then plus c, which means c equal to this, right? And of course from here then I found that I'm plotting my slope and my y-intercept. So I'll use this formula to get the equation, the required equation. The formula becomes y equal to, my slope is what? Is salt 3 times this, right? So 3 times s is just salt 3s plus my c is what? 5. And that is all, nothing more. And that is your question, your answer. Option what is that? Option number A. Alright, I'm going to give you just one question for you to go and test ability. Alright, this is the assignment for you. Go and test ability at the end. Please try to write the answer you got to the comment section, then I'll dare to correct you. Alright, I think at this point we are ending this part. The next part is coming, which is part 3. Don't forget to subscribe so that you get the notification when I upload the part. It's well to you.